Peter Schrager is the king of connections. He's excellent on air for Fox and NFL Network and a podcast near you, but the magic is in the bonds he forms with everyone he covers and interacts with. That is why after a week in New Orleans in the Super Bowl, I wanted to have Schrager on to explain what goes on during the week of the big game, what he does, who he meets with, and what the whole thing is about. Peter Schrager, you are the main event. Thanks for joining us.
Oh man, what a cool designation there. I appreciate it, Andrew. You know, I'm a fan of the pod. You and John Metaparel guys break it down, and I so appreciate being asked to come on.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I wanted to have you on because we're fortunate enough to be at the Super Bowl, but I want to understand. I want people who aren't there and people who are, like, how you use it, and go deep into that.
This year's Super Bowl, I went ahead and said, I'm going to maximize every second of this thing. I was humbled and flattened a little bit last year in what I still think is a questionable cost-cutting measure. We were told a week or two in advance that Good Morning Football from NFL Network was not going to be sent to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. And I said, well, that's the first time I've missed a Super Bowl in 18 years. I've got my Emmy behind me. We're an Emmy-winning show.
There you go.
We're going to have no presents. Now, you guys will do it from New York. I was flattened. I could tell you I was crushed. It was as humbling and as sobering a piece of news. And I made my case. I said, not only does it help our show, but it helps me for combine, it helps me for draft. It's all about work. It's not about me going to parties. And I paid my own way Friday after Good Morning Football last year. Not that this is some noble thing. A lot of people do it. But to think at 20 years into my career that I'm not missing the commissioner's party. It's an important event for me. It's where all the NFL owners go. I get the invite every year. The commissioner's there. It's probably the most influential room of the calendar year. It's Friday night, the Super Bowl. I bought my own flight. I was happy enough. Someone that I know let me crash in the hotel room. I'm a 42-year-old man. I brought a suit. I went to the commissioner's party Friday. I had brunch with Cliff Kingsbury, a friend of mine who was in Vegas at the time, and he was a coach kind of in transition going to the Commanders soon thereafter. And I left and I took a flight back and I said I was in Vegas for 18 hours. And if I ever get the opportunity to go back to a Super Bowl, I'm going to make the most of it, the entire experience. And in that case, I learned you can't rely on any of these employers. You can't rely on some executive doing you a solid. You got to do your own thing. And it was back to my old days where I used to pay my own way to the Senior Bowl and pay my own way to the Combine. And it was a good reset for me as I headed into a Fox Super Bowl where I was going to be prominently involved.
Yeah, we're going to have to probably have you on two pods, a one later date to get to the whole career because you can't connections. I got an email when I was like 24. You telling me how you thought I was good. You're sending to Mike Francesa. You sent it to everybody. Before we get into that, we're sponsored by WSC Sports. If you're a league, you're a network, you're a team, you got to use WSC Sports Magic Crop. It takes a lot of times for editors to create vertical content that fans are used to watching on TikTok, Instagram, etc. Automatically create and publish vertical videos at scale with WSC Sports Magic Crop. It follows the live action, so you always get a perfect piece of content every time. Just Google WSC Sports, hit that yellow right-hand button, tell them Marchand sent you. You want to listen to the whole podcast, andrewmarchand.com, andrewmarchand.com. All right, we talked about last year. You're not there. And I think you hit on something. There are a lot of people that are just there to party, obviously fans, celebrities, and they're there to have a good time. I also go, and I've been going since I, joined, returned to the New York Post back in 2017. So I've been going for about 6-7 years now, and it's work. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good time, not saying I think we're similar. You love talking NFL, you love meeting everybody. I love talking about media. So for me, it's a good time in that sense, but it is a lot of work. I felt dead after the Super Bowl. It really was like, am I getting old? Take us through. You show up when to New Orleans, and what give us a little bit of the itinerary.
Really cool opportunity for me. As you know, the backdrop of that last year was the CBS Super Bowl. Fox, an amazing employer, is like, we're going to have you be on the mic and be running the Super Bowl opening night for media, which is that crazy media night, that Monday night, that it's a lot of gags and goofs and all that stuff, but also really cool experience because they had me be the one to interview Mahomes exclusively, interview Saquon exclusively, and then of course interview the two coaches at once, Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. And this was simulcasted on FS1 and also aired on the NFL Network. And it was an amazing event. It was great. And I had some real quality time backstage without microphones on with Kelsey, Mahomes, Saquon, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Andy Reid, and Sirianni. And with Andy Reid and Sirianni, you also get the PR staffs. So I've got Bob Lang, the Eagles PR guy, and I have a solid hour together to go through the week. Brad G, who's the Chiefs PR guy, go through things for a solid week. What's your schedule? When can I get there? What can I do? So I'm laying the groundwork for an entire week, knowing that at the end of the week, so that's Monday, Sunday, my assignment was for the Fox pregame show, which you guys saw, and you guys did a great job recapping earlier this week. I had multiple hits in there. I was assigned to the Eagles team hotel. I get that assignment. It's not the Eagles are boarding the buses at 2:00. I better have something fresh. And this is something that Jay Glazer taught me many years ago. If they're going to put you on TV, do not read someone else's tweet on air and just regurgitate the news. Bring something that no one has heard before. So I was starting to lay the groundwork there, getting all my conversations in on Monday when most people are landing Wednesday, Thursday. I'm already entrenched.
You came in Sunday night, you flew in?
Sunday night, and I did Good Morning Football Monday morning for NFL Network. And then I got to the stadium around 3-4 o'clock and started laying the groundwork. We had a great evening. That media night is a cool honor for me. And I think it was actually a really good presentation. It aired on FS1, and it's me, Carissa, Julian Edelman, Cooper Manning, and Mark Sanchez. And I don't know if the ratings did well, but you better believe like the work was already beginning. So I'm already in that work mode and I'm going. We do great job. Tuesday morning, I'm doing Good Morning Football. Wednesday morning is when things get a little interesting. Tuesday night, I get a call from Brad Zager, who I think you referred to as the Theo Epstein of sports production. Brad Zager, a brilliant Fox Sports overseer and production guru, gives me a call on Tuesday. Now, others might have known this months in advance. And he says, hey, be in the lobby at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're doing something pretty special. 3 a.m. I got Good Morning Football starting at 7 a.m. So 3 a.m. He's like, it'll be from 3 to 6 a.m. Can't give you many details. Sure enough, you saw the finished product, but what you might not have seen was the amount of Fox people that were behind the scenes and Fox on-air talent that were in that big Lady Gaga piece. They shut down Bourbon Street, Andrew, from 3 to 6 a.m. We filmed that thing. We did multiple takes. Lady Gaga was incredible, but Sean Payton came out for that. Roger Goodell came out for that. Jane Goodell came out for that. And then you get to Mario Davis and Andrew Whitworth and Thomas Davis, who was representing the Carolinas. An incredible production. But from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., you had the top of the tier Fox talent, Strahan, Brady, Terry, Howie, to guys like myself and Dean Blandino and Mike Pereira. We were all together. And you think, well, that might have been a little overkill. No. There's a method behind their madness. That kicked off our Super Bowl week as a team, and we were all in this thing together from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And that's how Wednesday started for me. Then I do Good Morning Football. And then I had the really cool opportunity. First time in my career, through the Chiefs and through Fox, I was able to attend a Super Bowl practice. Usually just the AP pool reporters are invited. It used to be like Peter King would do one of them, or maybe Gary Myers would do another one. You'd get the AP pool report. Because Fox was broadcasting the Super Bowl and the Chiefs, I've got such a good relationship with them, they allowed a few of us to come. So I joined Menifee, Jimmy Johnson, Christina Pink, and Julian Edelman. And we got to attend practice, which was really cool for studio talent to do, not to have the game crew. So just giving you an example of like the work stuff that was going into it behind the scenes that you didn't necessarily see on TV at the start of it.
If you want to listen to the rest of the podcast, andrewmarchand.com, andrewmarchand.com.